Yo, hello world. Oh no, I have to reposition it. Hit Control P O. Or Shift O P. Ah, fuck me. Fuck me. I don't know why it reset like that. It's normally stuck in its place. Overlay. I'll go positioning mode. Put it like down here-ish. Yeah. And fuck guys. Sorry about that. Unexpected. Okay, cool. Welcome back to Dead Space, a dead space where everything's dead, but in space. It's a good game. We're gonna keep playing it. Could be going a little longer than last time because we aren't starting that much later than usual. I have a game I beat that we can talk about. And yeah, it would be a good time. So, control, yes, it is control. I believe we just finished the medical wing. I was about to board the tram out of here. They got the captain's key card or whatever. Been a week, of course. Miserable life of a streamer where you can't play a game every day because you're not getting paid to do this and you can't afford more internet. Sure. Would be smart to be making multiple saves, but I'm an idiot.
You've got two problems, and we're working on borrowed time here. First, there's no fuel in the engines. Second, the gravity centrifuge is offline, which means there's a couple of trillion tons of rock pulling us down. I need you to get that centrifuge operational. Refuel the main engine and fire it up so I can stabilize the ship's orbit.
Sure, let's make a fucking electrical mining engineer or whatever the fuck I am. Go refuel your ship's engine. Like that's something I was trained to do. I like how the objective thing points you exactly where you need to go before the objective even changes. Like he was pointing at something before that video call ever happened. Means you don't have to stop and look to it, even though it like allows you to move. There are some games where you do just have to like spin around in place while you wait for a conversation to change before a door opens or whatever. That's like shitty. Makes you impatient. Some soda cans. Sun soda. You have to like operate a claw machine to get that out. That's ridiculous.
Personal log. Acting Chief Engineer.
Captain's log.
It's been 2 days since they pulled that planet open, since the captain died. The panic, the riots, they were nothing compared with what came after. Our friends, our co-workers, started coming back. Changed, coming back to kill us, drag us away. Rucker disappeared this morning, and I have to assume he's dead. My crew, they're starting to crack. I'm trying to keep an eye on them, but right now I have bigger problems. We're hemorrhaging fuel and the primary engine is laboring. Danvers and I are going to try to reach the fuel depot to see if we can fix it. Temple out.
Looks like the current path's taking us to a dead end. I imagine this is some kind of hub zone. So I can ignore the elevator for the time being. Oh, hit a store. Nah, I just bought everything, it don't matter. Could be level 2 armor available in there, I don't know. I don't know if the store just has what it has until you find the schematics. Which makes things easier for when you go into New Game Plus and it doesn't have to reset the entire store. Or it gets stuff over the course of the game as well. I think it's level 3 armor at 1, that's why it was grayed out. Not that I didn't have enough money. I may have not had enough money. It's so nice to be able to take my time without having to worry about any fucking starvation meters or whatever. That's what I spent most of my week doing. Of course, you know the rules. We're gonna wait like a half hour, so anyone who may want to listen can listen.
What in hell is going on here? Danvers, Henderson, he's crazy. Pulling his own teeth out. Henderson, for God's sake.
They have Odra
Oh,
decks.
God. Is he dead? Relax. He's alive. But he hit that
There's
door
like
pretty
flashlights
hard.
or something.
Man, why would he do something like that? I don't get it.
So snow hasn't been so bad this year. Say it's basically winter until like mid-March, right? And then spring lasts for like a single month, and then we have summer. So I'm expecting like this month or next month to have big storms happen. And the first one happened, but it completely missed me. We got like a dusting. Or just, like, I don't know, like maybe 30 miles away. We had people getting like 15, 20 inches. Well, that was nice. I've never been so lucky. Decklog Hallow F AB. Don't know what's going on around here. Somebody said the ship's been attacked. Who the hell would attack out here? First the captain dies, now we get attacked. Comic says someone on the bridge staff killed him. Can't believe that. Goddamn chaos now. Can't get through the bridge. Can't get through to anyone. Everyone's running. Getting the hell out of there. Should probably join them. Oh, he's dead. Guess he joined them. Is that him? His legs, dude. Ah, bench. I think I have... No, okay, I have two. Spend one. Trying to conserve one for any locked doors I might encounter. Why do I put it on? Any more damage on this would be ideal. But I'm pretty sure I also dumped one thing in here to get some HP. Kinesis range. That's all it has. Kind of shit, don't you think? Recent duration. This would be nice. This one's such a big investment. Like, I have to go through a whole area and spend them all at once if I'm gonna actually be motivated to get any of these. I'll start with this. That. Yeah, there's secrets. We have to look in all the corners because we have infinite reach. Teamwork! Get the aperture security man and a spaceman. Probably a doctor. Aperture Labs. Yeah. But what's down this way? A save. Emergency surprise. Oh, credits. Emergency money. Low-key what the swear jar is. Your parents just don't know how to save, so they decide to charge their kids their allowance for saying words that everybody says. Hello? Ammo do I have? Probably keep that in mind. Not a lot of pulse rounds, a couple line shots, mostly plasma ammo. What's this? Flamer fuel? Air can. Got the schematic for flame fuel. Means I can actually buy the thing now if I wanted it. What was I supposed to... I don't think we need to go over there just yet, Isaac. Trying to make me go in loops. Maddening.
Refueling sequence activated.
Dumb bitch. Ugh. I have to use the gondola now. This takes me back to the captain's quarters. Oh, I guess that's good. My inventory's kind of full. Put me on the other side. Wow, his clothes just like melted off so smoothly. Why you run off? Oh, okay, there it is. See how I'm aiming it to hit both of them? I'm being smart. Well, we're smart, ain't it? Ow. Well, I don't understand is why the fresh ones look so much different compared to the other ones. Like, are those the fucking manta rays growing bodies when they're like the naked normal skin colored ones, or what? Because these ones are like all burnt and pussy and they got the green skin. A lot more meat on them, really. And like, they're still living organisms, I think. They're not pure zombies, so like, I don't think they're just rotting or whatever over time. Plus, it hasn't been that long, I don't think. Yeah, it seems about right. Maybe I'll put one of these back. Cool. Well, I clear up like 4 slots, yeah. Alright, now I have to go back to refueling. Ta-da. I wonder if it's like a handset path of points that the line follows, or if it does its own pathfinding to get to your objective, because like, how is it floating on nothing? It's not using a nav mesh or whatever modern technology term. Use the line rack for this. That was pretty sick. Oh fuck, he's still alive. He just played dead in space. Maybe he got like dogpiled and he couldn't move anymore, I don't know. I feel like that's a little too low for being orange. Again, I guess I only do have like 4 nodes. Surprised how much damage I took in there. Like, I feel like I kind of danked the most of them with the line launcher.
should have let him live. Never should have let him live. Shut it, Danvers. Shut it. Engineering log. Temple reporting. Someone has shut off the fuel lines to the primary engine and damaged the valves in the process. They need to be repaired before I can reopen them, but we're running out of time. With the engine offline, orbit decay will begin in less than 10 hours. I just can't understand who would do this. If it's one of those crazy unitologist bastards, I'll break their neck. Anderson said they were coming. We never should have let them live. Shut up, Danvers! Help me with the tools. Temple out.
Probably a secret in here, innit? Not just a place for monsters to crawl out of. You see how they like lured me in here with the small loot and I turned around for a nice surprise? That like triggers the good feels in your brain. He's gonna sneak up behind me then, yeah, since I already found that first thing. Come on, you sumbitch, I know where you are. Oh, maybe after I start refueling. Use any yellow jumpsuit, that's kinda gross. Why is it yellow? Did he pee on it or something? Eesh. Oh. Isaac's is brown to hide all the shit in his pants. That makes sense, and it's classy. Brown's a neutral color, it goes with everything. Yellow? Nah. It ain't it most of the time.
Refueling sequence activated. Sufficient fuel to fire primary engine.
Whatever you did, it's working, Isaac. I have a fuel reading. It's only a quarter full, but that's enough to restore orbit.
Whatever I did.
What the hell?
I just started refueling like normal,
False
okay?
alarm. Thought I saw something.
Oh no, not babies. They did the thing again. Show your rewards when you turn your back. Yeah. So that audio log mentioned unitologists being crazy bastards. You can assume that's some kind of religious cult. All religions are cults, just, you know, some have more believers, but we say cult when we think of crazy people specifically. So they're going to be an important part of the story. I think we already read that people were like worshipping something down on the planet, right? Or it was driving them crazy or whatever. So yeah, you can now assume this group of crazy people is related to it. Now, since the second game takes place on a ship that was cleaning this ship, and it starts on like a planet that you escaped on a ship later, or some kind of mega vessel, maybe something like the Citadel from Mass Effect. So, like, it's pretty easy to see how that game's necromorph infestation happens. For the most part, and the way this game ends kind of leaves that a bit more open. They figure out what really happened, but specifically for the context of the third game, where you're on a different planet entirely. I think you are far away from all this shit. The Ishimura is nowhere to be seen. Unitology is very important for that context. I'll learn more about them later. Ripper, is that a saw blade launcher? No, it's just a saw. I'm pretty sure this is a melee weapon of sorts. Question is, does it have ammo? Like, I feel like I should just wait or hold off on buying everything until I find the ammo later on. It has to have ammo, even though it's very dangerous to use. That would be the trade-off, but I don't know. There were nodes. I'm assuming it's a level 3. It's going to cost like 15,000-20,000, so I'm going to keep some money. Take that too. I'm so used to having like dedicated healing rooms in these games, you know? But, like, fact of the matter is, you just have to do it yourself every single time. I feel like I'm not using stasis enough either. Warning, mandatory decontamination. Why? Was the rest of the ship really that dirty? It's not like this is the medical wing or whatever, right? Or... what is this?
This is Temple. Now the centrifuge is offline. We've got 4 trillion tons of rock hanging off our ass, and without that centrifuge to balance the ship, the gravity tethers will pull us straight down to the colony. I'm heading in there now to see if I can fix it.
Gravity tethers. I think that's just like a big rope It probably like defies gravity or something. But it's still flexible. I guess would be important for keeping your ship anchored to a planet. Because planets are round. So like the higher up you build something, the more it needs to be able to flex. And like the direction that gravity's pointing kind of changes as you go higher up too. Like it's gonna be not just straight down, but like down in a wider cone. Which is why some buildings are designed to wiggle, like the Eiffel Tower. And that's why we're having so much trouble building a space elevator too, to bring stuff up to the station without wasting 1,000,000 tons of fuel. I think the current proposed theory is to just have like a big spinning yo-yo around the tower for the elevator. And that will create its own gravitational pull just by spinning. Like if you ever spin in place and your arms start to helicopter naturally, that's how gravity's made. Called centripetal force. So the thing about upgrading the capacity for the line gun is you can only hold 4 stacks of ammo at a time. So having more capacity means I can keep more of the ammo in my gun and less in my inventory. Okay, it looks like you hold 6 actually, but same principle. Beacon chamber. Oh, decontamination.
Decontamination sequence
Not like
activated.
a religious
Please
beacon.
stand by.
Are you just spraying like hand sanitizer on me, or tells me I'm about to contaminate this whole room? No, fucking automated protocols. I'm trapped in here with them. Woo woo. Two of them. Oh no. Oh Billy, where is he? One of these guys. Not even close, baby.
Decontamination sequence complete. Thank you for your
And
patience.
like a finger on. Is this the big round? Yeah. So, in the lower difficulties, you obviously have more ammo and you use less of it on the enemies, right? So, I think investing like all your nodes in one nice gun is a more viable strategy, but right now it seems like it's really spreading out the ammo that I have to use, and I'm using most of it. So I think I'm making the right move by splitting up where my upgrades are going. Probably not gonna have a maxed out gun, but that's okay. Zero gravity.
Entering zero gravity.
Another fuel plug. Is that just like a can of fuel and then, I don't know, a screw to get into the engine? Well, that's gross. I don't think we've seen flesh walls yet. What could possibly have made that? Got a big gross tentacle, looks like a dog cock. Wow. Oh, I think I just wasted heals. I was trying to do the stasis. Is it F? C? Yeah. Can I just, like, reload real quick then? I don't want to waste heals like that. Can't believe the game even let me. We're right outside that room. Yes, it is the year 2022. We do load in mere seconds. Probably be smart to start putting the games I stream on my solid state, but I don't do that. 'Cause I'm stupid. Can hear him. Is he in the room? Down below me? Yeah, he's just below us. Was it Alt? Control? Out? Oh, I have to aim and then push whatever button, right? Yeah. Where is this sumbitch? Coming at me from all directions. Ender's game. Question of the day. How was the movie? I never saw it. I heard that the ending really got fucked up, though. Also pretty sure the author's kind of racist, so a lot of people don't like him or denounce the book or whatever. I don't care, it's a good book. Separate art from the artist, people. Because the thing about characters in a book is they're not the person who wrote it. They're characters. They're written a specific way to be not the person who wrote it. Usually. I'm sure lots of the eroticas are self-inserts. And surprisingly, those are always the best-selling books. Because housewives who don't get good dick just love reading erotica. They're too embarrassed to talk about it on TV, so you never hear about the ones that actually sell well every year. I guess that's changed a bit more in recent years. Where everybody's talking about sex on TV. The Family Guy song. Ah, maybe this is a big gravity spinner like I was just talking about. Centripetal form, use stasis to slow object. Okay, do I just, Oh, I hit the button again! Fuck me, I'm not reloading that.
Generator module attached. Generator module attached.
Oh, hey. Thought I heard a guy walking around, but I wasn't sure. Corpses go. They just vanish while you're not looking. It's probably smart of them. I remember playing the demo for this one on Xbox 360. It was just like a combat demo, like you had a few weapons, walked around the area and fought like a lot of guys, kind of like a horde mode thing. You was able to go until you died, so I guess it was a demonstration of the combat and limb severing mechanics. Which was pretty cool, especially back then. But, you know, with so many enemies in one room, I'm sure they would have had to come up with a solution to hide the bodies when you're not looking at them, so they can actually keep them coming. Otherwise, all the limbs with physics on them, all those separate objects, they break up into little jibs. Would really take a big hit to the processor. I wonder why I look at the map for so long every time. It's because I keep hitting M to try to close it when you press M to open it, and it doesn't work like that. And that kind of pisses me off. Why is there an oxygen thing here? Do you even need it? Doesn't your oxygen just refill once you're indoors? Can I like rebind keys? That'd be great. Sensitive basic controls and stasis gun. As if it's a gun. So I want this to be on Q, I guess, or maybe G. G even would be nicer than C. Mouse modifier alt, is that like so it works on Mac? You see how there's no option for the... There it is, it's just not scrolling for some reason. Quick health pack. I want that to be on like T. Something that I'm not gonna accidentally hit all the time. Breadcrumbs. You guys supposed to know what that means. It's called a compass, man. I know that's just as inaccurate, but like, it's called a compass.
Exiting zero gravity.
Exiting zero gravity. Okay. So hard to tell when they look exactly the same on both sides.
Entering zero gravity.
Get my ass over here. Need enough room to rotate yourself. Basis recharge, nice.
Centrifuge activated. Reestablishing planetary cargo. Gravity restored. Entering vacuum.
It was a gravity generator. See a big spinny boy. Oh, but now we're in space.
You're doing great, Isaac. Centrifuge and gyros are both 100% and stabilized. Now get out of there and focus on the engine. I don't know how much time we have left.
Okay, elevators work now. as you might guess, I have to try and put the brakes on this. But it's totally gonna dank me because I missed. There's an autosave there.
Centrifuge activated. Re-establishing balance with planetary cargo. Gravity restored. Entering vacuum.
You're doing great, Isaac. Centrifuge and gyros are both 100% and stabilized. Now get out of there and focus on the engine. I don't know how much time we have left.
This is really the contingency plan? No way to slow it down, I just have to duck in these little alcoves they built specifically for people to walk around this dangerous ass thing. Hold down, Isaac, you have like a full minute of oxygen left, like, don't act like it's so fucking hard to breathe already, dude. Fuck! I felt like that one was too far off.
Centrifuge activated. Re-establishing balance with planetary cargo. Gravity restored. Entering vacuum.
That's weird, it saved before I like even activated it. I figured it would save like literally just before I hit the button or exactly when I hit it.
You're doing great, Isaac. Centrifuge and gyros
saying.
are both 100% and stabilized. Now get out of there and focus on the engine. I don't know how much time we have.
Okay, I do have to go the more dangerous way because it's blocked off by the thing. Stop! Punch his fucking head off. What a fucking maniac. Isaac the maniac. Call me Isaac Chicken Nuggets. Because I punch like Tyson. Am I like too low health to sprint, or what's up with that? Pretty sure I don't have any health thingies left. No, I have a big one. It didn't let me use it though. Not into quick use. Interesting. I was always concerned that I was going to use one of the big ones, but I didn't need it with the quick use. But it seems that you just have to use them all manually. You can only use the one slots.
Exiting vacuum.
We're probably good to start talking about the game now. Woo. So we might also get like an audio call as soon as we step in here. Oh fuck. That's not an audio call, that's much, much worse. Ow! Just let me aim the thing, don't make me... Oh, it's so hard. Please stop. Oh. Pretty sure this thing just like pulls you into a vent, turns into a bloody paste if you don't get him in time. Yeah. What people think happens when you try to eat ass. Little tongue pops out and pulls the rest of you in. Pretty sure I wasn't even hitting the weak spot. You see how that one faded out right before my eyes? Alright, so this week we played Fade to Silence, another game we bought on the winter sale. So I knew it wasn't great going in, right? And I figured it looked a lot like a Gothic game or like Helix. You know, like a Piranha Bytes RPG. It's made by a different team. It's not Piranha Bytes, but it is published by THQ Nordic still. So, you know, those games aren't amazing either. They have good ideas, and they do like a thing that isn't very common, which is why you kind of have to deal with them not being great, and it's why we call the whole genre Eurojank. It was very much a Eurojank title. A Eurojank winter survival Lovecraft RPG thing. With some base building, tower defense elements. It sounds really ambitious, and with what I imagine is a smaller team, you'd think that it's probably like unfinished or undercooked. I can say it is finished. Lots of features are implemented and they technically work. However, it's still the latter. It's undercooked. There's not a lot of depth to like anything in the game. Honestly, my disappointment was pretty immeasurable, so I actually wrote a Steam review for this one. I think it's like the third or fourth review I have on Steam. I always put a lot of effort into them, so like, please read them. It's also like one of like less than 10 English reviews for the game, so it definitely is Eurojank, probably a German team. I bet it's just like the people who didn't want to work at Piranha Bytes anymore or something. I have no idea though. Give it the plasma cutter. Nothing immediate. I'm gonna favor immediate rewards for the time being. Since your health doesn't regenerate at all, if you just like space out your health usage, you really shouldn't have any need for more health, right? Like, as long as nothing's capable of one-hitting you, that is. So, you got the usual stuff. Alright looking graphics, probably Unity or Unreal Engine, I couldn't tell ya. My money is on Unity. Mixed bag voice acting that's mostly on the bad side. Probably animations that all came from Mixamo, which is like a free motion capture animation repository. You can just download animations for anything. Which is why you see a lot of like uncreative monster designs and stuff, because like if you just have a Mixamo human rig, you can use any of the animations from that website and it'll work on any character you make, as long as it fits that rig. I will say the monster designs in the game are unique, though.
Can you hear me? It's Kendra. They attacked me, I ran for it, and Hammond just...
Not subject to call yelling, please. You scared the crap out of me, Kendra.
Where are you?
Nice to see you're alive and well, Hammond. I've barricaded myself in the computer core. I can hear them moving outside, but I don't think they know I'm in here. I can launch into everything from here. I hacked the route and found some reports from the colony. Even before they cracked the planet, the colonists were experiencing widespread dementia. It seems to be related to some artifact they found on the planet. Something called the marker. I'll keep looking. I've got your location and I'm going to unlock the door to fuel storage. You can get to the engine chamber from there.
Ah, there's my suit info. On the right, the marker. We finally have a name for the object in question. Great. And it sounds like something of religious significance now. Power nodes, probably like a medium med pack. Be nice. So where do I start? Well, I mean, when you start up the game, you're gonna come to a menu of a dead man lying in the snow with like a shadowy ghost wraith-looking figure watching over him. You quickly figure out that Wraith is the antagonist to the game, a sort of elder god named Eclipse, because I guess he came to Earth in the form of a big moon that blotted out the sun, and it kind of like... The Eclipse is, I think, a singularity, like a mini black hole. So it kind of sucked up all the buildings and stuff, and like... It's got tentacles coming out of it, and like if you go near it while it's marching over the sky, it just moves over the whole map the whole game. It'll be like dropping cars and shit on you.
Entering vacuum.
So that's where his name comes from. Just like, you know, a big junk moon blotting out the sun. But in general, the monsters are referred to as the Eclipse. There's also like bloody hellvine tendril things all over the place as his influence. Anyways, when you hit start, that ghost goes into the character, right? And I guess I will be spoiling the story here because it's not a good game. I'm telling you now, I'm not recommending it. It goes into the character, then you hit a loading screen, and it's very likely that's where the game crashes. For some reason, the game frequently gets stuck at like 40% through the loading screen. And when you're loading into the game for the first time, there's a loading bar. However, you can eventually fast travel, and that means you have multiple load screens to worry about. Please close the door. So basically every time you fast travel or just start the game, there's a, let's say a 50-50 chance that you'll crash. It's pretty shitty, but it auto-saves frequently. There's no manual saving at all. I guess it's shitty because, as you recall, happened with Darksiders 3 like a week ago. My save file got corrupted in that game because it crashed during a save. Do I just use a heal now? Swear I had medium heals on me. Can I buy one? Medium medpack schematic. That's what I picked up? Okay, shit. What, I bought a small one? Fuck me. Gross. Okay, so you wake up in like a tomb surrounded by flames. You're the guy that the guy, the Eclipse, I mean, the ghost man. He comes out of your body, he's like, you failed, I triumphed. The news cycle begins anew, and he blows out a little candle around your corpse. Those candles are your lives. You have limited lives in this game. So you start with like 4 of them, and as you do like landmark task in the game, or like every death, I think you just get 1 for free, you'll earn skill points that you cash in to make your next run easier. So there are roguelike elements, I suppose. The upgrades that you get are just really basic things like keeping some of the equipment that you got, or starting with a stash of supplies, or getting a few more lives. So I ended up permanently dying once on my first run of things because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And that was it. I invested in more lives and I didn't necessarily use those because I like had knowledge and I knew how to exploit the game by then. So I felt like that whole mechanic was kind of unnecessary. And there is an exploration mode which is easier difficulty wise, but you also don't have lives, so like play that if anything, I guess. Because restarting the whole game from scratch sucks ass. Luckily I wasn't too far when it happened. Engineering log, Danvers, C, QMed, free, organic growth in engineering. Update. Oh, it's talking about the flesh walls. The unidentified growth seems in other parts of the ship has now reached engineering. I don't know what the hell this stuff is. It looks like something threw up the guts all over the walls, but it's spreading faster than we cut it up, which is pretty disgusting in itself. It's already in the engine spoke, and if we can't find a way to stop it soon, it'll hit the main chamber by the day after tomorrow. I hope the docs are looking into it because it's way beyond me. It's pretty common for like flesh growth on ships to be the generic monstrous threat. You see it in like Warhammer 40k, in the fucking Homeworld zombie expansion, Space Pirates and Zombies. What was I saying? Right, so the roguelike elements kind of fail, and I didn't really take advantage of them too much. I just had a bit of a steep learning curve. Took my whole first run away from me, wasted my whole first session of the game, which is absolutely miserable because obviously I was dying frequently. I got my ass kicked. The game wasn't quite telling me what to do or what I was doing wrong, and like I just kind of froze to death. I starved to death. Got my ass kicked by monsters. Had my fucking NPCs die. I didn't understand that whole frostbite mechanic with your health bar. And yeah, it was just an absolutely miserable experience. Not to mention the ghost man is a narrator and he's just always fucking shitting on you. Like, you'll be hunting a deer and you're like, oh, like, you're gonna hunt that deer? You'll never shoot it in time, fucking bitch. Or you're near a survivor, he's like, oh, you should turn back. You don't want what's in here.
I can't restart it by myself, and with all the other shit going on, it's obvious this is sabotage. I'm heading for the bridge, and then I need to find Elizabeth. I gotta get her off this ship. It's not safe.
So, like, on one hand, it feels like he's afraid of you, but on the other hand, he's just being like a fucking schoolyard bully, like a fucking cunt the whole goddamn game. It's really frustrating after a while. It's the way. It's the way. Right, so you wake up in the tube, he blows out the candle, you go and pick up a torch, because he's like, oh, you got no weapons? This'll be over quick. Pick up a torch, it's an improvised weapon, and it's also a light source, provides the smallest amount of warmth, not enough to be useful ever. And it teaches you a quick combat tutorial where you smash some frozen enemies to break out of the tomb. One of which is a Crusher, the hardest enemy in the game, and, like, you aren't at all... Because of that, you aren't at all aware when you run into your first Crusher that your basic weapons don't do enough damage to hurt it. At all. You need at least tier 2 weapons and to do a heavy attack, minimum. Otherwise, your weapon will literally just bounce off. Then it moves on to an actual combat tutorial. Teaches you can dodge. You can do like a 3-hit combo with your weapon, which adds damage over time. Nah, I'm about to die. It adds damage over time, kind of like an Elix. Like, you don't get stronger from stats or anything, just what weapon you have equipped, and then, like, the longer you can combo. And there are ways to increase your stamina, however, you're always stuck in a 3-hit combo. God damn it. You can dodge out of the way, of course, which takes stamina. You do a heavy attack, which breaks guards and kind of becomes the only attack that I use because of how often the enemies block. There's seemingly no way to, like, stun lock the enemy or whatever. You either get off a 3-hit combo or you don't. So, by just foregoing the whole risk and just heavy attacking exclusively, you can do confirmed damage every time. I found it to be the safer option. So I more or less didn't do the combat system at all. You can also block just before getting hit to cancel the enemy's attack and not take damage, which works on all of the enemies, including the big ones, so that's good. Even if it's a little weird feeling. So, like... let's go on a tangent real quick. In Oblivion, right, I never understood the combat in that game because it doesn't explain it to you in-game, but in the manual, it tells you that your damage is based on, like, a multiplier of how much stamina you have left. So, if you want to do, like, full damage on your attack, you want to have a full stamina bar and do a swing, and then you're supposed to wait for it to fill back up. Kind of like in Morrowind, how you have a mischance at low stamina. So what the basic player who doesn't understand how the combat in Oblivion works will do is they will spam the light attack and just back up while hitting the enemy and staying just out of his attack reach, because you can move while attacking. And that's more or less how you fight in this game. You do a heavy attack at a safe distance because it takes a long time to wind up. You hit him, and then you back up a little while you wait for just the smallest amount of your stamina to come back, so you can initiate another heavy attack. Which, even with all the stamina upgrades, will still take almost all of your stamina bar. You might be able to get off 2 eventually. Or have room for a dodge roll afterwards, which is really a game changer. So you encounter landmines just after the combat tutorial, as well as a hellvine, which is another enemy type. it just kind of pops out of the ground and hits you. You can usually avoid them entirely by rolling out of the way. And they're always attached to nests that you cleanse, so like... Getting ahead of myself a little. A nest is a button mash. It's surrounded by the landmines and usually comes with a hellvine, and sometimes they're like walls to make a little maze for you to walk to get to it. And sometimes there'll be an enemy guarding it as well. And all you have to do with the nest is get to it, button mash, which takes up some of your max health away, initiating frostbite. And then the nest dies, drops a lot of fat loots, including a guaranteed stat stone. We'll get to that later. And whatever enemies were protecting it will die on the spot. So with the hellvines, you usually can't attack it unless you do a perfect parry and then attack it, and it dies in like 2 hits. But I just found myself running up the thing, button mashing, dodging when it got near, going back to button mashing. Which, again, takes some of your max health. And if you're away from the button mashing too long, the timer on it resets entirely. So, like, you need to dodge and get back to it really quick. While also avoiding the landmines and the hellvines and whatever enemy you probably didn't want to fight. And those are all the enemies you're gonna fight for a while. There's a man with claws, a guy who spits landmines, and the hellvines in the nest. You'll run into the crushers and this guy who, like, has a tongue that pulls you in, but he's really not that threatening otherwise later in the game, as well as 2 green variants of the 2 basic enemies. And that's every enemy in the game. There's like 6 of them. Okay, so you do the combat tutorial, you see that your little base from the last run allegedly was entirely destroyed. I think that was Ripper ammo. I'll have to come back. And your daughter is like hiding on a roof. I don't know how the hell she survived when everyone else fucking died. Apparently you had a whole town of people. Okay. That all resets. You're left with a pile of junk where your base used to be. You still have your little lighthouse, which is your main building. And your daughter, who is very terribly voice acted. And has, like, stupid kid dialogue, despite her being, like, a tween. I have to say, every time in video games, talk to a kid, it sounds like they're written by an adult trying to make themselves sound stupid. Just let a kid write your dialogue if you're gonna have a kid, because it's gonna be stupid either way, right? At least if the kid wrote it, it'll be believable. She's like, oh, Daddy, you're not gonna leave me alone, right? Like, I have to find firewood. So that's your first mission. Tell us to go find firewood. Which you would think would be pretty close by, but it's not. There's like 3 pieces near the base, and then you're like just left to your own devices to figure out how to get more. You don't start with an axe, you only have a torch as your weapon, so you can't chop down trees just yet. So you just have to like walk off pretty far from the base to get 6 sticks. And as soon as you do that, you'll be introduced to the blizzard mechanic. Periodically, you'll experience like a short 2-hour-long whiteout that also like brings the temperature way below freezing, so you'll lose your health permanently. So you're supposed to find either shelters that are scattered about or build your own and burn some of that wood you collected to survive for a bit. Resting at a fire will restore some of that missing health, as well as regenerate your actual health. And it'll warm you up a bit, in case you hadn't noticed that you've been freezing to death this whole time, which I definitely didn't. And after that, that's where your direction has gone entirely. It told you to get wood, and then it told you to go explore. You didn't have to return to base. Your daughter, don't even talk to her, because you don't. You don't pay her any fucking attention at all. She's a really weird mechanic. You gotta just go to the base, and she's like a living reminder of all your issues. Like, Daddy, I'm cold. Daddy, I'm hungry. And then you just walk off. You don't even say fucking hi to the kid most of the time. So as soon as you step out the base, there's also a stat stone. The first one you find is a warming shard, which will give you a permanent bonus to your character's installation stat, which is just like, you know, weather defense. It goes up by 1 point every 3 stones you collect, up to a max of 10, which is like a single suit upgrade. It's negligible. But it's also important, and you probably wouldn't get through the last areas without collecting all of them. Luckily, the stones aren't spaced out evenly at all, and despite there being 4 different kinds of stones, you get all the warming shards in like the first 2 areas. And like the health and stamina ones are saved for the last 2 areas. Last 2-3 areas. Pretty lame, honestly. Feels like a mechanic they probably implemented late in the development and just didn't want to rethink out how they spaced them or something. So the other stones are increasing your hunger gauge, stamina, and health. The health is pretty unnoticeable. Like you don't get enough at all. The stamina is also pretty unnoticeable, but once you have enough to do a second heavy attack or roll away, or maybe strap it on to the end of a 3-hit combo, it's kind of a big deal. It only takes like 1 or 2 upgrades to get to that point. And the hunger, which is also unnoticeable. Like, you either have a decent stash of food or you don't. But you should always be carrying like a full stack of soup on you. And out of plasma cutter ammo. Sheesh. The game doesn't tell you how to craft, it doesn't tell you anything about the base building, doesn't tell you to look for survivors. It only teaches you that you're gonna freeze to death eventually, and that's where the tutorial ended. And then you're left to your own devices, get your ass beat by the enemies, combat that doesn't really work. Try and craft a bow first, because 1, that's a bow, you can cheese combat with it, and 2, you need that to get food, because even if you do manage to sneak up on a deer, you can't hit it with your melee weapon. It has to be shot with a bow. I'm looking for a store. Oh, like there's one nearby. So to make a bow, you need some sticks and some fiber. You might find fiber out in the wild, but it's kind of rare. What you're actually supposed to do is destroy the grub roots, which you use to make heals. Or you can turn them into food in an emergency as well. You're supposed to go into the crafting menu and tear those apart to get your fiber to make a bow. Again, it doesn't tell you how to do, you just kind of notice that you have a crafting menu eventually. And you can only craft basic stuff on the spot. Everything else needs an actual facility at the base to make. And you can't do it yourself either. You have to queue it up for NPCs to maybe do if they want to.
Ignition sequence initiated. Please stand by.
Oh, please go away. Okay, so I mentioned hunting deer. When you kill a deer, it'll drop a little meat, like a single pristine remains, which is a crafting component, obviously, and a lot of tainted meat. You won't know what to do with this tainted meat at first, but you need a facility to process it, to get the taint out of it, and then it turns into meat and remains. So once you have these facilities up and you are actively processing these supplies, having meat and pristine remains, or whatever other supplies you need from trees, which work the same way, is not so bad. You just need to make sure you have someone actually getting the stuff. You're also going to get way more of it than what'll fit into your inventory. So you might want to run back to the base with it, or you can just leave it on the ground like I usually did. Because you don't do most of the hunting yourself. You let the NPCs do it, and they will bring all the stuff back automatically. I never figured out if the stuff I left behind was collected by them or not, but I feel like it was, because there's just a lot of the stuff once they go hunting on their own. Now the facilities take a lot of firewood and to build initially. That's mostly the only resource, that and the pristine remains. I guess I have to finish this.
Engines firing.
Oh, it doesn't look safe at all. A lot of line racks. I should be using this. Feel bad having to leave all that behind. That money? So yeah, it takes a lot of work, especially since you probably haven't crafted an axe yet, because...
We're online and functional. Finally, some good news. Get a tram to the bridge, Isaac. I'm gonna take us back into a geostation.
Wait, we're not safe yet. Ship's asteroid defense system is offline. On the way up, the ship's going to pass through a debris field thrown up from the planet crack. We'll be ripped to pieces unless you restart it.
God damn it! I'll start working on it from here. Isaac, meet me at the bridge. You can do more good here than I can.
Because you don't have a way to get scrap yet, which is the first tier of weapons, scrap. So once you do just find some of that lying around, that's literally all you can do to get it. You just find it. You'll be able to make an axe, a pick, and a sword and armor if you want. It's gonna take a lot more fiber, so you gotta tear up your heal juice.
It's me, Nicole.
Oh, hey, we're back. I don't have to leave behind. I can store all of this stuff here. Hello. So let's talk about the things. So by default, you need to have an axe and a pick in your inventory if you intend to harvest trees or mine ore. Though you don't actually need to have them equipped, they also double as weapons. The pick is heavy and honestly not worth it because it takes way too much stamina to swing. The axe is balanced, and you of course use it for harvesting. And the sword does a little more damage. It's faster, consumes less stamina. And that means that you're supposed to use it to light attacks to achieve big combos and get big damage eventually. But as I said, there's no way to like stun lock the enemies, right? So you can't reliably make a big chain combo. And that means the sword is kind of useless. It's just not worth having that take up space in your inventory when it's not used for harvesting anything. And you're only able to do heavy attacks for the main combat. So you're better off just using the axe, which I did, because it just took less stamina to swing, or the pick, because it just does more damage. The pick's probably the best option once you have enough stamina to swing it and have a little left afterwards. I just stuck with the axe. It did plenty. Also, quick side note, the final axe is a lot easier to create than the final sword, so that just worked out nicely for me. Because I beat the game before the final facilities and equipment were finished being created. So having like an endgame weapon at least was helpful. As I said, the only way to craft stuff later on is for the NPCs to do it, and they might do it, and they do it very slow. So, like, all you can do is either wait around and not go out until you get your shit, or, which is a waste of time and you'll starve, or you can go and play the game and just wait for your shit to be made. Which is what I did, because I didn't want to fucking waste time. I know there's plasma cutter ammo around here somewhere and I want it. So another mechanic I never mentioned was you can like hold down the left trigger and the right trigger, I mean. It'll activate sort of detective mode. It'll highlight useful stuff on the map. And you'll see like gold glow around premium resources like trees and ore, or the stat stones. Everything else will be like blue, or if it's hostile, it'll be red. And also in gold, you can see the primary objectives, which there are 2 of. One appears to be a rocket ship stuck in like a big ice cap somewhere. And the other is the broken cargo ship, which your daughter kind of suggested you go check out because it probably has a ton of supplies on it. And that's the only real direction you have, get to the cargo ship. And once you get there, you kind of just aimlessly explore until you get to the rocket ship, because you're still playing the game, but nobody said anything to you otherwise. Oh, there's another enemy I didn't mention. There's like this thing that just kind of rips at you, like it charges through walls and stuff. And it charges 3 times in a row, and then like if you dodged it enough, you can go and beat on it with your sword or a bow. Otherwise, it's more or less invincible, and the first time I encountered one, I was like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, and it killed me. Because it just charged at me 3 times, and I didn't see where it ended up. And I wasn't able to hit it at all when I tried to block or whatever. And that was pretty fucked up. I guess the plasma cutter ammo's gone. Whatever. Must have disappeared because it was an enemy drop or something. Thing of wine racks with me then. And I'll just sell these, like I don't see the point in the air cans. Like I said, if you don't upgrade your air capacity, like the game's still gonna let you beat it. So these are kind of useless. 5 more nodes. Those are fun. Probably buy health back too, but power node. So despite being able to hunt and chop trees yourself, when you mine ore, you can only mine it the one time, and then you have to wait for the NPCs to do that. There's nothing you can do yourself. Workbench just off to the side here. Which is really shitty because they seem to favor gathering wood and hunting more, which they should, because they need to not freeze to death and to not starve to death. But unless you tell them specifically to go mine ore, they're basically never going to do it. Which, iron, the final tier, is like rare. It just randomly drops from the copper. So you need them to mine a lot if you want to get the iron, or you can try and find it one piece at a time out in the world. Which is what I ended up doing. Mine. Is that the alt fire? It drops a landmine? I had no idea. More width. Well, this is an obvious decision. You just go to this one and then one of these. No, I probably want to upgrade the pulse rifle. PBH. Right, you can also see outposts highlighted. They're just like watchtowers off in the distance. When you go to them, you have to cleanse like 2 or 3 nests and then fight a guardian, which is just a stronger than usual monster. Sometimes there are multiple guardians. And then you cleanse the outpost, which gets you a sliver of hope, which is what the skill points are called. You can only cash out on death, so they're useless. It's not a reward. On permadeath, I mean, like once all your lives are wiped, because they only really add bonuses to new games. But you do unlock a new like stashing point, like a shared stash that goes back to your base, so you don't have to walk back across the map every time your inventory's full now. And you can also fast travel at the crystal at the bottom floor, which means you'll risk crashing, but it is fast travel. And at the top, you'll also find a Flame of Hope, which is an extra life. They're very rare. You can craft them eventually, but they cost a lot of resources. As well as a small, or kind of large stash of supplies, which is mostly like wood. Occasionally some premium stuff. It'll keep you going for a while. Guess that's everything. So that's the actual reward from that. It was enough to make me finally build a building. Which, when you cleared out the stuff at the outposts in the first area, you will get, like, dogs that are spit out of the spawners. They're not dogs, they're wolves, but they're, like, already trained and harnessed, so those are sled dogs. So if you choose to make a kennel as your building, you now have a sled available. Which lets you move faster, of course. You don't have to constantly worry about your stamina bar depleting. And...
Come in. Kendra's right. The ADS is completely shut. I'll need your help to fix this. Kendra, if you can hear me, see if you can get to the ship's reports. It sounds like you have better access from there.
When were you going to tell us about the artifact, Hammond? This marker?
I don't know anything about that. It's referenced in the captain's records. They brought it up from the planet.
It's on the ship?
In cargo. They think it's of alien origin, but I don't know what the hell it is.
Really? CEC didn't know anything about it. You're lying.
Back off! I am not the bad guy here. Ross shake you right now, you're gonna have to trust that I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
We've entered the debris field.
It's doing the thing I was talking about. I don't like
explain
this.
everything later. Hammond out.
So you need 2 dogs to make a single sled and a kennel. And it's faster movement, you don't have to worry about your stamina bar anymore. And it's also a stash. So, like, you can just park it somewhere, go explore, put stuff on the sled, and it's a pretty decently sized stash. You, by this point, probably crafted a couple small bags to increase your inventory, which you can make 2 of, and eventually a backpack, but that's like endgame backpack. I never got to make the backpack because it was very expensive. Yeah, it's just nice to have inventory space. It's a real game changer. At the outpost, you also probably found a little teleport stone that summons the dogs to you, so it's kind of like teleporting storage, even if you don't drive it necessarily. The dogs are entirely invincible. They just don't go near corrupted zones until you've cleansed them. And if your sled happens to flip over, because the physics in this game are atrocious. Not this game, in Fade to Silence. You can pick it up and replace it on the ground. It's not so bad at first, but once you rescue another set of dogs, they will be added onto sled, which makes it move faster.
Impact on the bridge, right at your feet. I'm reading heavy damage, but containment looks solid. Life support is stabilized. We've got to get the ADS working.
And once you move faster, your sled will start to flip over more and more often. Eventually, you get a third set of dogs, and then the sled is impossible to drive.
How are they? They've already killed most of the deck staff. We need security back up here immediately. Guns are useless. We can't hold them back for very long.
So it's basically just teleporting storage at that point. You can put the sled on a main road, and if you just hold the move button, they will follow the path, and that's relatively safe most of the time. But when you get to the final areas, there are these tornadoes that auto-kill you when you get near them. They'll flip your sled, they'll rip you out of the sled, they fucking pick you up and fling you across the whole goddamn map. It's pretty hilarious. And those will be on some of the main roads, so even that's not very safe. When I say the physics are bad, there's not a lot of physics, just like the tornadoes and the sled. But if you ever walk by, like, a destroyed car and you just touch it, it'll go flying. Because you are, like, an absolute hurricane of a human being. You're like Vash's Stampede. Humanoid Typhoon. I believe this is the main elevator, like this is a hub room for the rest of the game. It'll take you everywhere that you need to go. Guess we're in that asteroid field now, so we gotta get that vent shield up. Words, where have you gone? So, as you might expect, when you walk into a new zone, it'll be like 10 degrees colder to make all your progress feel relevant. Getting new weapons feels good because there aren't very many enemies in the game, so like, except for the green variants, which aren't even like the new norm. You'll usually feel like you got stronger when you got a new weapon at least. I guess we're about to talk to people.
Isaac. Damn, you scared me. The place is making me jumpy. Fucking asteroids coming through the roof. Look, I know Kendra doesn't trust me, but I don't know anything about a marker or anything else. This is supposed to be a repair mission. Plain and simple. This mess...
Oh, that's what we're doing, isn't it?
System. I can fix these boards.
Very
The main power
chair.
routing is shot. You're gonna have to reroute them manually through at least 3 junction boxes to activate the primary cannon. Oh, but first, You need to activate the atrium elevators from bridge security. You can use them to get to the junction boxes. By the way, Isaac, be careful. I saw something out there. I don't know what. I only got a glimpse. It was big. Really big.
Bet. I think you just told me that I can branch into any of the 3 areas I want from here. Mining log, Dallas A, supervisor, second engineer. Death toll is mounting, known dead so far. List. I don't know who any of these people are. Probably developers. What's your girlfriend's name? Courtney? Something like that? I guess that would be the suspense of this. You slowly scrolling through the list of the dead looking for whatever her name is. What is her name?
Sweetheart doesn't look good.
This database has stuff. Like, what the fuck? I know there's a way to view all the logs I picked up. Nicole, that's her name.
Bridge, come in. We've been boarded. Repeat, the ship is...
No, it should be in here.
Isaac, impact on the bridge.
List of dead. Look for Nicole. It's alphabetical. A, D, F, G, H, and then... No Nicole. She did call us. I guess she could hypothetically still be alive. She's not on this list.
Shit! Stand back! Oh, that one was dead when I sealed the pod. These things don't die easily.
Yeesh. So as you might expect, there's a second tier of ore and trees that you need to harvest, so you'll need to upgrade your axe and pick at least once. The final tier is entirely optional, quite expensive, very time consuming to get. And you are capable of killing the Crusher with your second tier weapons, so it's all unnecessary, it's all extra. Though the final installation warmth upgrade would have been nice. Though it's far more expensive than the final armor upgrade, so I never actually got my hands on it. There you go, that's a Crusher. Oh crap. Thought that was a death. We're good. That was a weak spot, you see.
That thing's on. Shoot it in the back, Isaac.
I kind of want to die because I just wasted my things on these. It looks like they're more like turrets than actual mines. Yeah, just kill me. I did say you get Flames of Hope sometimes, right? Those are extra lives, and once you figured out how to cheese your way through the game, because, like, the mechanics don't work, you have to cheese it if you want to actually play it. You might find yourself just intentionally dying once or twice to refill your warmth or starvation meters. Early on, I did that a few times because the NPCs weren't working fast enough. I didn't have enough of them to outpace their consumption of my hard work. Like, any food that I kept in the stash, they would just eat on their own, so I had to, like, keep it on my person all the time instead. But once you get a handful of them, they'll start getting stuff done, however slowly. You really have to tell them to do the task that you have in the town specifically. Otherwise, they're just going to keep gathering stuff, but never actually processing it, and that's not sustainable. Mines take a few minutes to arm. What is happening? Like, are these exploding or not? I feel like they are not. Explode on me. Oh, it killed it. No, it didn't. Alright, just kill me again. I'll use the other fucking gun since this thing isn't fucking working. At least then I can target his yellow points. Nice. Kind of weird how it bit my head off without having a jaw, but that was cool. So I've more or less talked about everything in the game except for the NPCs specifically, which I guess I can now reveal is not the correct term, because they technically are playable. There is co-op if you have one of them with you as a partner. However, one, your co-op partner can't really change his gear. They're stuck with whatever the character has. And two, I mentioned you need the characters to be doing stuff at the base, so you're not going to travel with them most of the time, which sucks because they have infinite arrows and are really useful in combat. And also, they talk to you sometimes. So, like, it makes you feel a little less lonely. But you need to have, like, all of them at the base if you want to get anything done. Also, if they happen to die while you're out, you have to go pick them up and, like, cleanse them like you would a shrine. Costs a lot of your max health. Well, that part's just a little shitty. Luckily, upgrading their equipment isn't so bad. Once you have unlocked a piece of equipment for yourself, you only have to build the one. You don't have to make, like, new armor for everyone or whatever. Like, hey, you got level 3 armor. Everybody now has level 3 armor. Woo. So, upgrading the bow specifically became a priority at that point, because your base periodically gets invaded by small groups of the weakest enemy. And just giving everyone a bow made that a breeze. There are, like, defensive weapons and walls you can build, but they're kind of unnecessary.
Shoot it in the back, Isaac!
It is still alive.
Quarantine lifted.
That's a solid waste of ammo. Store just outside the store. $20,000. Not bad. So there are a couple buildings you can make. You can make a hut for the NPCs to live in. You want one per person, and that will reduce their food and wood consumption every day. And once you get like higher end materials, you can upgrade the huts a bit to do that even more.
Whole again.
But the space in your build area is very limited, and the walls especially take up a ton of it. So by the end, I found that there just wasn't enough space for me to squeeze enough huts in for everyone to use. Not if I wanted to have all the crafting facilities, which I consider essential. I guess you can retire some of the old ones once you've advanced to the higher tiers, but for the most part, I didn't do that. And it's not like there's a harder difficulty version that you can play or unlock after beating it, so I think that my experience would be pretty standard of just not having enough time or padding in the game to actually take advantage of some of the endgame stuff. Not the way I was supposed to go? Did I miss a door? Oh, this is an elevator apparently.
Elevators are now online.
This is mutiny. You'll all be tried for mutiny. Kind, make them listen to reason. Settle down, then. Hold him. By Maritime Law, Article 5469, I hereby declare Captain Benjamin Mathias unfit for duty. The marker must be delivered to the church. Terrence, please. I'm sorry, Ben, but I can't let you do this. Traitor. Heretic.
There's confirmation that unitologists are involved in this. And they want the marker.
No, it was an accident. I had to stop him.
Arrest the doctor.
just let that happen. Back up a bit more. The first character you'll find is probably Vic. She's at like a ruined church relatively close to your base. You find her, she's looting a box, and as you approach it, one of the monsters wakes up, and you have to fight it, then chase her down. You'll find her fighting more monsters. That was my first death. But if you do manage to save her, which she is fighting, she'll be a bitch and tell you to replace her bow since she left it on the ground, but you can't just pick it up, sadly. You know, if you give her a new bow, she'll join you. And, you know, for the rest of that first run, she was being a helpful combat partner, right? But then I eventually figured out that I had to leave her in the base to do work, as I said before. When I said she's a bitch, I mean it. Like, she's not a very rude person, and she swears a lot. That's her whole character, that she swears a lot. And none of the companions you pick up are really good people. They've all done something bad. And they talk about it, they hint at it. Eventually, they will do a full confession with you, and that'll upgrade their abilities to build or craft or whatever. The contact beam? That's just a laser or railgun? Let's see, there's like a guy who was a doctor who was running experiments on homeless people. There's a guy who's a researcher who ended up getting everyone in his lab killed, but he also, like, uses himself as a test subject, so I guess he's the one redeemable character. There's a girl who used to get raped by her stepdad, so she eventually came to him and was like, oh, hey, I want you this time. She tied him up because he's into kinky shit, and she murdered him. Vic was like a lesbian. I don't want to say it was obvious because that's mean, but she's a butch girl. She was a lesbian. She's always talking about her girlfriend who's now dead.
Keep an eye out for any kind of
because she killed her.
Coming from the floor. It could be dangerous.
She used to be bullied all the time, so like she like threw rocks at kids. She was very violent in her defense of herself. She was a bit of a lone wolf. Met that girl. She was nice to her. They were gonna be together forever. Then one day she saw her talking to a guy. And she killed that guy because she was jealous. But that guy was actually her brother, which made it make a lot more sense why she said I love you to him. It was her fucking brother, and she murdered him. I think it's weird that you've been with someone so long that you're convinced you actually love them and you haven't met their fucking family yet. But okay. Oh. Chance the baby was supposed to tell me that. Who else is there? There's a monk who was like trying to purify people's souls so they couldn't turn into the undead monsters. And he felt bad that his parents got killed during a ritual, and he thought that he left their souls behind because he didn't have time to burn them or whatever. Then he eventually realized, no, that's not what happened, we're good. And their souls were purified. That was his whole arc. There's an occultist lady who's just like trying to bring her husband back to life. And she messed up the ritual multiple times, always harming people in the process. And she just had to make her think, yeah, I should probably stop that. I think that's it. There weren't a lot of characters, but like none of them were likable. And they all had like pretty heavy baggage. I mentioned with the Piranha Bytes RPGs that you always feel like you're playing a scumbag and like none of the NPCs are likable. And which is why I'm okay with just like klepto stealing everything I come across in those games. And I pointed out that, yeah, in Gothic 1, you are in a literal prison camp. It makes sense there, but once you go out into the world in, like, the sequels, it's just not okay. Everyone's an asshole, and it's pretty fucking unreasonable. Like, is that what it's like in Germany? Is that just how people act? Because it's fucking horrible. Beautiful country, shitty people, I guess. Fuck. Well, again, if you travel with them, they're useful in combat, which you're already avoiding because the combat's not good. And they'll, like, give you more dialogue while you're traveling on your sled or whatever. They're just fine. But they're best left at the base to do building, which you're just not going to have enough time for, in my opinion. Each character has 3 skills that they specialize in, whether that's hunting, woodcarving, metalworking, or construction. And they need to reach their catharsis, their confession to you, to get the upgraded versions of those, which allow them to work specific facilities. Or when you're building the high tier ones, you need people with construction to even build them. Oh, okay. Bring down. Other than that, they're all more or less the same character class. There is no leveling in the game, which is another reason to avoid combat. It's just kind of a waste of resources. And one of those resources is time, because you're gonna freeze to death, and you also have to worry about invasions, so like you really don't want to waste time. Just destroying all these fucking servers. Now, like... I point out the lack of enemy variety and the fact that you're avoiding combat as bad things, but if you look at it as like a survival horror game, it's pretty standard. This kind of just came to me now because we're playing this, but like there's not a lot of enemies in this game, right? It just works because you don't get too much in the way of power scaling either. And you have the limited resources, so every combat encounter is detrimental to your health. And in something like Resident Evil specifically, you do go through the whole game avoiding most of the fights because the zombies just come back to life. That's not the case in this game, though. Enemies stay dead. Jeez, I keep saying this game like the one we're playing. It's Fade to Silence. We're only talking about that. So, yeah. The game just, like, barely works. And, like, it's all miserable. It's designed to be miserable. It's supposed to feel hopeless. Like, atmosphere, I guess they nailed it, but that's not a fun atmosphere to be in for a video game, you know? It's just fucking depressing, and you don't want to keep playing it, and this guy died, I think. Nope, okay. So I guess all that's left is to spoil the story. Again, it's not a good game. Don't play it. I don't feel bad about doing this. So, every time you rest, which you may or may not do, it's just a quick way to pass time and get your warmth back while you're resting at a campfire. You might get a small flashback, which starts out as little nothings, but they eventually start to fill you in about a story about something happening at the JIPA facility ran by the Space-Time Continuum Suspension Program, something like that. It takes a very long time to get any information out of that, but basically, they were trying to make a small black hole. Which means having the ability to crunch time and space. That's what black holes do. Hypothetically, we would need to make a microsingularity if we wanted to achieve faster than light travel. So, like, teleportation, space travel, just general control of time. It's hypothetically very useful technology. But it's also supposed to be, like, out of the realm of possibility, because what happens when you create a black hole? Everything gets fucking swallowed. So the experiment failed, but as we started doing it, because I guess it was going to work, the god Eclipse woke up and like destroyed a space shuttle or whatever where they were doing the experiment, probably on a space station or something. There aren't like cutscenes for this, it's just like little static moving images like made in Photoshop or something, and it's not very clear what they are most of the time. So I have no idea what the JIPA facility was, or like why I saw a rocket ship break. So that's probably the rocket ship you go to at the end of the game. And there's probably more cutscenes, but that's all I really got. Right? They tried the experiment, and that woke up Eclipse. It brought his attention to Earth, which I guess is pretty standard for like the Lovecraft old gods. They don't give a shit about you, and like if you beg for their attention, you're probably going to regret it. But once that happened, he was just on Earth for a while. Like, the world wasn't quite frozen over just yet. When you get to the cargo ship, you'll get an actual cutscene related to your character, Ash, and his daughter, and his wife. So they were, like, on that ship. I don't know if they owned it, if they were a captain or whatever. But they were, like, approaching a big tidal wave, and they weren't gonna make it, so they got on, like, a dinghy. And, I don't know, I guess, like, debris killed his wife or something, right? And his kid, and he was like, oh, no! Please, you, whatever the fuck you are, I know you have some power. Please help me. Give me my people back. So that's what happens. He resurrects your wife and kid as zombies. And it's not good. He's like, oh, what the fuck? Why'd you do that? So he ends up killing his wife again. And he can't bring himself to kill the kid. Because, like, it still talks to him. It still calls him daddy. In its creepy voice. And its fucking missing jaw. So he ends up leaving his kid in that tomb that you wake up in. And he kind of just wipes it from his memory, I guess. So the daughter that you've been talking to the whole game is like an illusion. And it was probably intentionally done to you by Eclipse. Because when you did that, you made a pact with him, which let him bring his power into a world. More so than just being a singularity. So that's when everything froze over, I guess. And seemingly he wants you dead throughout the whole game so that the pact can't be reversed or unsealed or whatever. But once you get your memory back, you finally, like, man up and kill your daughter, and that's the final boss, I guess. Another button mash. You just stab the kid and that's it. There's no actual boss, no unique enemy. And then everything goes back to normal. Seemingly. The snow doesn't go away. But, like, his influence is destroyed. You see all the monsters and stuff dying. He's like, oh no, how dare you break the pact? And then you go, like, fall on your knees outside the sanctuary and you see a little sprout grow. Like, spring has finally come, allegedly. But if you sit there and watch the credits, this sprout eventually fades away. So that's another illusion. So, like, I guess you didn't totally free yourself of the man, and the world isn't fixed. And that's like a big middle finger to all the work that you did. Like, not only was the solution to ending it going back to where you started the fucking game and doing a button mash, they kill your daughter who you forgot was a fucking zombie. But even after that, you didn't actually fix anything. It was just like, what the fuck was the point of any of it? I swear, as soon as the credits started rolling, I just said out loud, suck my fucking cock. Also, when you get to the rocket ship, like the final thing in the game before you remember what happened with your kid and you go back to kill them, you have to do like some platforming on suspended glaciers, and like this game has a jump, but it's really shitty, and that killed me like 3-4 times. Do some really shitty platforming at the end of the game where you have limited lives. Like, what a load of shit. I was already getting really frustrated at that, and I was just like way angrier at the end than I probably would have been otherwise. But again, the whole thing was just fucking pointless, and no, it was not good at all. Jesus fucking Christ, man. They never explained to you, like, how or why you forgot. I guess it's insinuated that once you start to bond with the Eclipse, as one of the scientist companion explains, you start to lose your memory a bit. I guess that could be what happened. But, like, seriously, just what the fuck? The whole thing was just utterly hopeless and pointless, and it felt like a big waste of time. I can't recommend that. Even if it was just a mediocre survival experience all the way through, and like it was depressing as fuck the whole time. Maybe some people do want to sign up for that kind of experience.
Power transfer to the ADS.
Ship systems, junction box rerouted. I'm making some.
But like with the story being so nothing, I just can't.
Give me a hard time. Keep moving.
There are some community posts that suggest the game is unfinished, but you can play it start to credits, so I consider that finished. The story does have a resolution, even if it is a shitty one. The game is finished. It likely had a lot more content planned, but it didn't sell very well. And as it shouldn't have. They released it in a way undercooked state. And the developers, by the way, these are the people who went on to make the Destroy All Humans remaster. That's what they allegedly abandoned the development for. Also, like, I think the newest community posts, aside from the review I just wrote, are like 2 years old. So, like, this game died, and I don't think anybody's been playing it since. So, like, it was buried, and I never should have brought it back from the dead, much like the protagonist did with his kid. Because it was just a fucking monstrosity that I now wish was gone. Also, I think it took me like 24 hours. It took like a whole day of my time. And keep in mind, I died after my first session, which is probably like 5-6 hours long. So you can cut out like 6 hours of that, and then I gathered almost everything in the game when there was a lot more of it than you'd ever need. So you can probably shave off another 3 or so if you were just playing it casually. Now, like, with how little gating actually happens throughout the game, and how little enemy variety there is, I think that's very possible to speedrun the game. But, like, it's not broken enough for you to do anything other than walk to the end of the map. Like, maybe there's a speedrunning community, but I don't think it would be a very fun run to watch or even do. Though I can see it being very doable to just walk across the map, pick up some of the free fire arrows, kill the one mandatory enemy before you get to the rocket, and then end the game. Probably take you like an hour or two. The only challenge would be not freezing or starving to death, but again, there's plenty of free shit along the way. So, I don't know, man. Like, I played it. Alright? I played it, I beat it. It functioned. The fucking constantly crashing loading screens were annoying as fuck. But it functioned. It's not shovelware necessarily, but it's also not good. It doesn't make you feel good to play it. just like, it doesn't need to exist, but like, I think that it deserves more than a lot of the fucking shitty asset flips that you see on Steam as well. So like, I don't know. If you enjoy a shitty game and want an actual game that's not just like a lazy cash grab, I guess you could play it. Like, maybe Critical would enjoy playing it. By enjoy, I mean enjoy fucking roasting it. Like, it is a video game, but it's not fucking good at all, and I don't recommend buying it if you're a normal person. They're so hard to hit when they get close to you. Hold on, I probably had the money for the next armor set, actually. Probably pick up more line gun ammo too, since I just ran through all my fucking other shit. All my other fucking shit. Contact beam, what is it? Heavy damage energy projector. Looks like a railgun. Probably a continuous fire thing though. And of course I can't craft the ammo for it just yet. All three's, oh, don't have enough. Have line racks, plasma. Am I ever going to use those? I don't know. But I'm not going to cash them all in at once, because then I'll probably end up wasting them on power nodes instead of something big like this. Oh, it looks more like armor now. I still don't like the helmet over the default one. Got one of the lines back though, so I guess it's closer to the original look. Okay, do I buy a med... No. I don't buy a med pack because I can't afford it. Just have to make do. I do have a node I can spend on something, possibly. Wants me to go into these 3 zones from here. I guess I could technically go into one in the basement too. No? That's where it wants me to go. We're on level 2. I guess we should go up to level 3. Hematologist. How are we looking on time? 2.5. That's about what I thought. Okay. Alright, so I didn't like the game. If you want to hear, like, my actual coherent thoughts, I left a review on the page. One of, like, 10 English reviews. So check that out if you want. Though you probably shouldn't, because, again, I told you not to play it.
This is Temple. The bridge is fucked. I don't know what went on in there, but I'm not sticking around in case whatever did it comes back. I'm heading for hydroponics to find Elizabeth.
See, I always got stuck going into, like, tangents, or, like, I have to cut it off to listen to the game, or I have to talk about what's going on in the game while it's relevant. And I feel like these reviews are just kind of jumbled messes when I do them. So, like, part of me wants to go back, rewatch these streams, and put them in their own video, or, like, just convert it to a written thing on Steam, probably. But, like, that also sounds like work. And, you know, I have a job, and I'm making a video game, and I do this. I can't keep putting, like, more work on my plate like that. It's a shame. Not to mention, I do stuff on, like, other platforms, not just Steam games, so that wouldn't quite achieve my goal. Doing the videos is probably the best solution. Or I could figure out how to make my own website and make, like, a sort of blog there. I could post game development things as well as reviews. Wow. The thing about that is, how do you advertise a website? Like, how do you bring people to that, or than just having a link to it on my fucking Twitch page or whatever? Because, like, the video game reviews are something that are more approachable, or, like, that people would want more than watching me play a video game and be fucking bad at it and say stuff that I probably shouldn't say. So, like, I would want them to be somewhere where they're going to be seen to help the actual consumers. Not to mention, I mostly play indie games, so, like, in a lot of cases, my thoughts are the only ones that are posted in the world. Like I mentioned when I bought Fade to Silence, I only saw like 2 reviews. Most of them were not in English. And like the one was bad, the other one was a Scottish guy who I also don't think did a great review, but it was a coherent video. And the ones on Steam are not very in-depth. Except for mine now. Sheesh.
Power transferred to the ADS.
Okay.
Power
Primary
aids.
oxidation power has been rerouted. Look, I don't know about you, but I think I'm seeing things. My head's pounding still. I don't know. Just stay sharp, okay?
That really it? Why is the map so fucked up? Like, can I tumble it? I can tumble it. Is that the roof? I know there's a section where you walk on the roof, but like, why is it not centered on my character? How do I move it to me? Map's fucking useless, dude. There we go. Kind of. Yeah, these doors are just locked. There's nothing I can do about it. Right, so once again, shoutouts to I Dream of Indie, because basically everything that catches my eye, they'll have a review of the day it comes out.
Isaac, listen up. I've gone over the MedSci reports. These things are biorecombinators. They take dead tissue, absorb it, and mold it into new forms. One iteration seems to have the sole purpose of infecting corpses. The others, well, seem to be making corpses to infect. And that body tissue we keep seeing on the walls is part of it too. I found a report that says it's a habitat changer.
Terraforming monsters. Right, the only issue I have with the channel is, like, sometimes I don't necessarily agree with them entirely. There are a couple different reviewers, so, like, they'll have their own opinions, of course. But, they also just, like, don't seem to cover bad games very often. They usually have something nice to say about it, you know? And, like, on the case of not agreeing with them, there's a game like Heroes of Hammerwatch, the reviewer just didn't like that one very much, it wasn't his style. But that's, like, a decent game. And that would be a bad review for them. They aren't ever covering Fade to Silence, where all you can really do is shit on it. I also guess it's not very indie, so it probably wasn't on the radar to begin with. And they have a big publisher, right? I don't know how independent it truly is. Small team, sure, but it had a budget. No free stuff. Oh, there it is. I'm the Poppy. God damn it! God damn! Yeah! Get the fuck out of here! Shit! Dude, just fucking give it to me. Oh my god. Just fucking line racks, dude. Come on.
Exiting vacuum. Entering vacuum. Exiting vacuum.
Oh. Did I do that? I've never watched Family Matters in my life. Initial infection vectors. It's been less than an hour, but they've spread fast. Flight deck was the first to go after the shuttle crashed. Now almost entirely overgrown. We've lost at least half of the medical deck and about a quarter of engineering. No information yet from cargo or planet ops, which suggests bad news. Is not what I expected. Right, so they told you they brought the marker on the ship, like it's in cargo, and the unitologists are obviously worshipping it, and that made them do mutiny. Allegedly, and the guy acted like he didn't know what was going on, so it's probably the marker also make him see shit. As our buddy was saying is happening to him now. The thing is, there's like an on-rail shooter game on the Wii called Dead Space Extraction. It's a prequel to this. As you might guess, it's them extracting the marker from the planet. So basically, as soon as they removed it from its place, shit hit the fan, and they still brought it back to the ship. And didn't get the fuck out of here. Just saying, they're kinda stupid. I didn't actually play the game. I have it on Dolphin, but like I wasn't interested in it because it's not Dead Space, it's Dead Space Extraction. It's an on-rail shooter thing. It's probably not even very long, I have no idea. Like, what the fuck are these? It's not a fan. Is it just like a gravity tile? Is that what these are supposed to be? Fake gravity conductor things? And what, they're just pushing in the wrong direction? Are they magnets? Why the fuck do they smush you into the ceiling when you step on them? Oh. I think that box had a note in it, so I got my refund. If it didn't, I don't want to hear otherwise. A semiconductor in it, that was nice. Oh, he's not coming back.
Asteroid defense system now online.
Alright, we've got enough power, but the ADS cannon's auto-targeting is down. I think it's a faulty data cable. I need you to aim the cannon manually until I can replace it. Take the elevator to the top of the ship and head for the cannon pit.
Well, she just made me go to this bottom floor first, if that's how it was gonna be. Because now I have to go back up to the 3rd floor and those doors should be active. Are these getting blocked by the body? Like, fuck. Snap off its fucking soup drinker. Oh. That's fine. Wasted a lot of ammo there, I think.
Asteroid defense system now online.
Alright, we've got enough power, but the ADS cannon's auto-targeting is down. I think it's a faulty data cable. I need you to aim the cannon manually until I can replace it. Take the elevator to the top of the ship and head for the cannon pit.
I got a big one. Nice. Oh. Stop making me waste my ammo! I don't have a lot. The game made me not have a lot. It's intentional, but I still feel bad. Oh, fuck. You get there, some bitch. Oh. Would be cool if I was able to kill the thing before it made its bodies.
Asteroid defense system.
Maybe I can.
Alright, we've got enough power. ADS cannon's auto-targeting. I need you to aim the cannon manually until I can replace it.
I did it.
Take the elevator to the top of the ship and head for the cannon pit.
That's low key while I was destroying the bodies earlier. I was hoping they wouldn't be able to do that. I had no idea one was coming, but I'm always preparing for it. That worked. Well, they let me do that, right? No, it's also like I shouldn't have had the knowledge. I stomped you into bits before. Fucking Doom guy. Where's the second corpse though? Doesn't matter, I'm never coming here again.
Entering vacuum. vacuum.
I think it's kind of fucked up that you have to buy oxygen because you're in space. Yeah, obviously it's in limited supply, and people have to use fuel to bring tanks of it onto the ship, because, like, how are they making more? Probably artificially recycling the air we breathe, but... You know, it's just the idea that it's air, alright? I don't have to pay for air on Earth, because it's a planet and it has plenty of it. But it is very likely that you would have to pay for oxygen, even though it's something that you literally need to live. Because the shit's not free when you're in space. It's like when you go to a fucking amusement park and you're like, what? You gotta pay $5 for a bottle of water? Because they're selling Dasani, which is just overpriced and doesn't even taste great. It tastes weird and it's fucking water. That's because water is limited. Fresh water, I mean. And, like, normally it's supposed to be free. I think by law you can't charge for water, and that's why you're paying for Dasani, not water, because it's not water, there's something else in it. Which goes for every bottled water you buy. There's always something in it. And that's why they all taste different. Specifically in the United States, we have fluoride in all of the water, even the free stuff, which is not at all okay. It's a neurotoxin. You're not supposed to swallow your toothpaste. I got like a little news pop-up on my phone the other day saying like a major ice cap melted, releasing how many millions of tons of fresh water right into the ocean, so it's all salt water now. A mega iceberg. Now there's like ancient disease and bacteria all frozen in that, so like you aren't going to be able to drink it anyways without it being heavily processed, sent to like a pasteurization facility first, but still it's a shame that it all went right into the ocean.
Isaac, you're going to have to cross the ship exterior to reach the ADS cannon. Problem is, we're still getting bombarded by asteroids. Look for cover, or you'll get torn to pieces.
I think I mentioned this some time ago, but them melting has nothing to do with climate change, I don't think. The ice caps are still ice because it's still very much below the freezing temperature up there. It's just normal behavior for the freshwater ice to melt in salt water. Because salt water has a much lower freezing point than fresh water. So when it's mixing with the salt, the ice is just going to melt. That's just what happens. It's all melting over time since the Ice Age.
Warning.
So it's still very much like below fucking 0 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like 30 degrees off from Celsius. Like, that shit would not be melting from temperature alone. I never noticed my fucking chat overlay went away. Not that it matters. I step on to kill me? Did I just get hit by a meteor or what?
Warning. Multiple impacts detected across the starboard hull.
Was I just supposed to wait for that to happen or what? Or do I maybe do gravity jumps? Move fast?
Entering vacuum. Entering zero gravity.
Never mentioned there's a version of Dead Space on
Multiple
mobile.
impacts detected across the starboard hull.
It was like a very early mobile game, but it's the full-ass game, and like, I don't think it's available on the store anymore for some reason, because the OS has evolved so much since then. But it was really cool that like that early on they were trying to get full-ass games onto the phones. It was around like the time Infinity Blade came out. That's another full-ass game that I don't think you can play anymore. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. It wasn't like it was like a shitty version of the game either. Like, it still looked good, and like, obviously the controls are a bit awkward because you're stuck on a touch screen, but like, other than that, it was the full thing. It even had some like exclusive content in it, I think, being a re-release.
Exiting zero gravity. Exiting vacuum.
That's it, Isaac. You're in the pit. The cannon's a mass driver, so
Yeah,
it's
this
sure
feels
to
horrible.
anything flying at us. Keep an eye on the hull's integrity. Too many of those things get by, and we're dead. I think I've almost got the system repaired. Just buy me a little more time.
I love how it doesn't start at 100. Make you feel like you're already fucking up a bit. And obviously the ship has taken a bit of beating since your arrival. But like, the fact that it can get destroyed this quickly seems a bit off to me. I know we did just fly into an asteroid belt and all, since we fired up the engines, but still, I feel like it should have maybe taken a bit more damage before I got here. If this is how quick it's happening.
Just one more minute, and it should be fully operational.
Hull integrity critical.
Bro, you said one more minute. Don't fucking lie to me. Bro, suck my cock. No. way too sensitive. I guess I could turn the DPI down on my mouse, but that I shouldn't have to do that.
That's it, Isaac. You're in the pit. The cannon's a mass driver, so it should punch through anything flying at us. Keep an eye on the hull's integrity. Too many of those things get by, and we're dead. I think I've almost got the system repaired. Just buy me a little more time.
I didn't realize that both triggers do a thing. I don't even know why they do. It makes the big ones that break into smaller pieces easier to deal with.
Just one more minute, and it should be fully operational.
And shut the fuck up. Fine, son of a gun. Oh my god.
Nice shooting, Isaac. Auto-targeting is now online and clearing a path to safe away.
I like how it's actually auto-targeting.
Again. Head to the tram station, and I'll meet you there when I'm done.
It would have been so much easier for them to just put like a sliding window that comes down and opens up when you get in the thing. They didn't have to show this part. Also, I love how it's shooting Duracell batteries. There's no Duracell branding on it. I just assume Duracell when I think of a D battery. I like all the smaller ones, so those are the Energizers. AAAs are fucking weak and pathetic, so those are the shitty Sunbeam ones you get at Dollar Tree. Isn't it weird how I have, like, a specific brand in mind for each battery type, though? Is it the same for you? I don't have any idea who the fuck makes the coins. I feel like those aren't the normal brands anyways. In fact, the writing on them is always so hard to read. I think I probably just assume it's like a Chinese company. There's oxygen right here, so now it's to listen to asphyxiation. But like, I could have been running on the walls this whole time. There's oxygen things if I looked. Wonder if there's treasure. Probably not. I don't know why there would be. I feel like there should have been more enemies if they were just gonna put one out here, though. Oh well.
Exiting zero gravity. Exiting vacuum.
Wait! Isaac Hammond. You're not gonna believe this.
Isaac Clarke,
Oxygen
actually.
levels are falling. Something's poisoning hydroponics air production, and whatever it is, it's filling the deck up with that organic stuff. We're not going to have any air to breathe soon. But if I understand these lab reports correctly, I think I can make a poison to destroy it. Head to medical. It should have everything you need.
Will this never end? Isaac, get to medical and mix together whatever Kendra's come up with. I'm heading to hydroponics. If I can slow it down, that might keep us breathing long enough to fight it.
Alright. So I'm coming back here later. So medical is where we were when we started, I think. So I guess I'm heading back to the tram. Is that just a fucking head? Guess even the limbs aren't safe anymore. What do you mean it's getting back up? Ow! I knew I lost track of the other one. Oh! Should probably use stasis on him. That would have been smart. Damn it, now I'm hitting C, even though I changed the controls. Hello? Do I even have enough health to use the big one? I don't know. Yeah, that was the right call. And back to level 2. How much ammo do I have? Not a lot in my gun. A lot for my gun. Still plenty of line rounds. Pretty cost effective, actually. He does big damage. This is like this game's shotgun, I guess. Horse gun. Kinetic booster device. Does that mean that it just punches? It fires like a shockwave? This fires the saw blades apparently. I think it has ripper blades as ammo. I think the alt fire is probably just a hit with it. Oh, this sounds cool. It sounds cool. I think for now I'm just gonna stick to nodes though. Like, it says short range, which is never where I want to be. Maybe I'll try out the contact beam. I still don't have the ammo for it. Oh my god, oh my god, oh, stop. Trying to live with my mistakes. So this thing has like a long charge up, but I guess it's a sort of railgun. If I had a save point, I'd like to fuck around with it, see what the alt fire is. Fire it at the ground. Just a charge attack. Probably something to increase the attack speed on it. Hold on. I just wanted to reload the game, but we might be done too. Yeah, we're at a good time to stop. So, but there's like an ice storm coming tonight. I know I said that like I was expecting a big storm, and the one that did happen completely missed me. Ice is still really shitty. That decent chance they'll knock out my power, so that'll suck. So I'll try to see you in a week. The thing about my power getting knocked out is this is private property, and so it's not quite connected to the rest of the community's grid, which means it's low priority to get one house back online as opposed to the entire community. So were I to lose power, it could potentially be out for the entire week, but hopefully I'll see you guys in a week. And, yeah. Don't play Fade to Silence. I'm surprised how long it took me to go through that whole conversation. Yeah, it's not good. Don't touch it. Stay away. If you're looking for something else that's Eurojank, that isn't Elix 2, which is coming out soon, is it SpellMaster? The Saga? This is another probably Eurojank thing from a team that I've never seen. And it looks a lot like a Gothic game. Except you're like the master of a spell school, I guess, or you start out as a student and then you become the master, and like there's town management stuff. This does a lot of the cool, ambitious stuff I was hoping to see in Fade to Silence, but like the combat looks like it actually has a lot of work put into it. Plus you're a mage, so like that's cool. And yeah, maybe keep this one on your list because it comes out in just a few days. Oh, there's my recommendation. Yeah, see you guys later.